This is the Star News Brief. I'm Joely Regi. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi's Amani National Congress Party has issued fresh demands before agreeing to merge with the ruling UDA party. This emerged as National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula's Ford-K rubbished the push for a grand merger, insisting on strengthening individual Kenya Kwanza affiliate parties ahead of the 2027 polls. The party's top guns have maintained that the Prime Cabinet Secretary was quoted out of context. But Mudavadi recently reignited the merger debate at Bomet, Ruto's backyard, at a prayer meeting, giving strong indications he'd work more closely with President Ruto. On many occasions, the president has maintained that it was only through dialogue and agreements that they could persuade other Kenya Kwanza affiliates to join UDA. Get a copy of the Star e-paper for only 40 shillings by logging on to www.mgazzetti.com. Long-serving officials of trade unions and employers' organizations now face an ouster in a new bill that could trigger disquiet in the labor sector. The Labor Relations Amendment Bill 2024 introduces a term limit for officials of unions and employers' organizations or federations. The bill seeks to end the current arrangement where officials serve for as many terms as possible, provided they are duly elected and re-elected. According to the bill that appears to target long-term officials of trade unions and federations, an official of the groups shall hold an office for not more than 2 terms. According to the bill, existing officials of a trade union, employers' organization or federation shall be deemed to be duly elected under this act for the remainder of their term. The Ministry of Health has recommended that the 8,571 contracted health workers hired under the Universal Health Coverage be hired on permanent terms. They are currently serving 3-year contracts, mostly in county hospitals, but are paid by the Ministry of Health. They also earn less than permanent employees who do similar work. The workers were hired on 3-year contracts in April 2020 to boost the response to the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as smooth implementation of UHC. All their contracts were extended by the national government for 1 year in May and June last year. However, in a letter dated June 21st last year, COG CEO Mary Mwiti directed county public service boards to renew the UHC workers' contracts for 3 years instead. People living around Lake Victoria should prepare for possible flooding after the Meteorological Department predicted more rains in the region this week. The Met Department said areas around Lake Victoria, where some residents have already been displaced, will continue to experience heavy afternoon rains. This region covers Siaya, Kisumu, Homa Bay, Migori, Kisii, Nyamira, Trans Nzoia, Baringo, Uasin Gishu, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi, Nakuru, Narok, Kericho, Bomet, Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma, Busia and West Pokot counties. On Tuesday, authorities in Nyanza reported more than 300 residents of Kobura ward within the Nyando sub-county were forced to move from their homes following heavy downpour. Residents were concerned over the risk of contracting waterborne diseases after some of their belongings were destroyed in the water. The single greatest threat to humanity at this point in history is not nuclear war, but climate change. Such, at any rate, is the broad consensus of all reputable scientists. But few of us wake up every morning dreading the consequences of climate change. We prefer to act as though there is in fact no such threat. This explains why environmental policy is perhaps one of the most difficult things for any government to get right. The threats are usually still some distance away, but action is required more or less immediately. Back in the 1980s, the Daniel Moi government decided to settle landless Kenyans on the slopes of the Mau Forest complex. This forest not only has some of the highest annual rainfall in Kenya, but is also the largest indigenous montane forest in all of East Africa. Thus, it is the point of origin of many rivers, including the Mara River. Get a copy of the Star e-paper for only 40 shillings by logging on to www.mgazzetti.com.